Hi, we're the directing duo Alex and Steffen, and you are watching Eclectic Arts Media.
Because of the color green, not a lot of people choose it. I don't know why.
Hi, I'm Jackson, and this is...
I'm Jake Shimobukuro.
And you're watching Eclectic Arts Media.
If I can walk out of the ring the way I walked into it, I'm happy.
Going to somewhere like that and playing those places that all those bands that you listen to play.
First line of the show, life's not fair, is it?
And then I'm singing and I'm going, I'm not all by myself anymore.
Oh, whoa. Whoa.
I know.
I can get a look at my good-looking cat.
My name is Tyler Campbell, and I'm playing Actor 3 in Taproot's production of A Sherlock Carol, and you are watching Eclectic Arts Media.
I mean, I'm with me every day, all day.
Even with editing, I get irritated. I'm like, but I get quite stubborn,
And you sit in, okay, I believe you.
Hello, my name is Richard Winslonaker. I play Hercule Poirot at Taproot and Murder on the Lake.
I think I forgot your question, but I went on a different path, but it felt great.
And I need to keep as much hair as possible because, particularly in Hindley Street, no one's got hair. You'd fit right in, Mark. So.
How come the clone thing hasn't caught on yet? Like, I would love to have my own clone.
Hello, beautiful clients.
And you're watching Eclectic Arts Media.
Right. They may be super confused. Like, what is this woman talking about?
All right, look here. Hey, this is Alex Story from Cancer Slug. This is Cancer Slug. And you're watching Eclectic Arts Media. See, I said it right.
Well, hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Mark Sugiyama from Eclectic Arts Media, based here in Seattle, Washington. And this is the first Fun Table session of 2026 here on Tuesday, the 6th of January, 2026. And these are not formal interviews for those that have not watched one of these. And there's quite a few of them since 2020 when I started doing all this virtual work. So I'll take a quick minute to explain how these work. That back in July of 2020, when I was on the Inside Out virtual tour with Alice, that I started doing these where I brought 3 guests together who had at that time never met each other. And I was just grabbing some random questions off the internet and just threw them out to the group, and we kind of answer them. And because it was during the pandemic, there wasn't much of anything else to do. So they kind of grew into their own beast where I was doing them pretty much weekly when I was on the Alice tour. And also when I wasn't on the Alice tour, I was doing them. And it was turning into like a happy hour session. I know we talk about wines and craft beer, and people would grab their devices and go show us something instead of just talking about it. So they're very, very loose conversations. And I've kept them going since then. Typically, they're at the end of a calendar year. So I did a couple in November-ish or so. And so this is the first time I'm doing one in January, and I don't know how many years. Typically, it's trying to get the guests that I interview during any given year and then seeing who's kind of got a similar vibe and trying to maybe see if they want to come back together and shoot the breeze. Back in November of last year, I had a memory come up in my social media, and it was from 2020 with a Fun Table session, and just kind of got me thinking about I wonder what these guests are doing now. So I reached out to them, and we got that together in November, right before Thanksgiving. So that was the first one of these 2020 in 2026 now Fun Table sessions. So this is the second one, and I can let people know that there is a third one coming. I have everyone set. We're just trying to figure out a day and time. It won't be till at the earliest February based on one person's schedule, but they all want to do it. They all want to come back together. I've seen 2 of them in person, but that was, I think the most recent was 2022. No, one of them was 2022. The other one I just saw last year. I hadn't seen her in like 2.5 years, so it was really interesting. And then another person I haven't seen in person since the pandemic. So that one will be really fun. And we had a great time back then. So I'm continuing to pursue these in addition to doing the one-on-one interviews. Speaking of which, I want to thank Josiah Miller for joining me last night. I was great getting to talk to him. He's a wonderful actor that I've gotten to see on stage here. And I've also watched some of his short films that he's been a part of. And speaking of which, coming up, this is kind of came together really quickly today that this Friday, the 9th at 6 p.m. Pacific, Ingrid Sinai Baran will be joining me, who's another wonderful local actor. She's always inviting me to her show, so I know where she's at in any given place. So, but we've never really had a conversation. So I want to talk to her, and that's going to be happening this Friday. There's a couple other people that are in motion now. Depends on my day job, my Muggle schedule. So we'll kind of see what happens with it. But I was really happy to see that the numbers for live streams last year was actually higher than 24, 23, or 22. I didn't realize it was like that. I started looking through the stuff last night because I was kind of bored. So I looked through some analytics. I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know that I did more last year than any of the other previous 3 years. But if you're watching this, please do me a huge favor, and you can hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. And if you're over on the Twitch side of things, if you could follow me over there, that's where all this work started. And if you really want to know just things in general that's going on with me, you can follow me as Eclectic Arts Media, one word, on Instagram. That's where I post everything first, and then things migrate over to other social media platforms. Okay, and so if you're watching this and you want to ask any of us a question or just a comment, you can join the YouTube channel or the Twitch channel and put it into the comments, which I already see there's some kind of coming through. Hello, Alice. So thank you for joining us. And I see someone else is joining us as well through the YouTube channel. So thank you for being here. Again, I've said this many, many, many times on my live streams. That's probably been dozens of times at this point, that I always say I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for the band Alice, because it was the furthest thing from my mind in 2020 about, hey, do you want to do a virtual interview? Do you want to come on a virtual tour? I'm like, what the hell is that? And I'm not a tech person, so I didn't even know if I had enough technology to make it work. Again, if you like what I've been doing over the last 5.5 years of being virtual, then it all goes back to the band Alice down in LA inviting me to be a part of their virtual tour, and I'm kind of getting this whole thing going. So I'm always indebted to them for that. And I had no idea that I would still be doing this in 2026. It's such a wonderful tool to meet people from all different walks of life all around the world. Of course, I've been in person, just like everybody else, doing lots of things. That my first media event in person will be Saturday. I've got one on Tuesday, and I've got one on Wednesday. There's another one later this month that I got invited to, and some other ideas that I have for 2026 that involve this, though, that I want to try to. I'm going to try out one idea, see what happens. It might completely fall flat on his face, but I want to try it because it's something I haven't done before. I just have to kind of get some of the right people together and see what we can do. So, all right, here we go. Let's see here. These folks first joined the Fun Table session in September, I want to say 25th of 2020. It was 3 guests. We have 2 of them here, which I'm very, very grateful for. And so I'm going to bring them in one at a time, and then off we go. So let's see. This gentleman, gosh, we go all the way back to high school. Somebody that was around the band room at the time. We had similar friends. We have similar interests in bands. I think in many ways, I actually know him better now than I did back then because of these conversations we've had over the last 5 years. He was a part of the Alice virtual tour on Leg 1, Chapter 1. And it was really one of the guests that kind of helped pivot me toward being more relaxed and just kind of being more of myself, because I was trying to be this whole talk show thing, which completely didn't work. But I remember the interview that I had with this gentleman, that's what kind of steered me this way, and I stayed on that path, and it was the right path. It was the right thing to do. So without further ado, I'd like to bring in Mr. Mike Gruwell.
Yo, Mark.
What's going on, Mike?
Hey, awesome to see you. And yeah, we definitely have we talk a lot more than we did in high school. It's like, you know how high school was just whatever. But yeah, meeting at that concert with a mutual friend, all of a sudden it's like we start talking like, oh my gosh, you've been doing this since then. So, and that was before the first whatever. I can't remember what year that was. Do you remember what year that was that I came to Seattle for a show?
Yeah, I believe, and I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it was 2018.
18. Okay, so a couple years before COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been like, so it's almost been like, yeah, it's 8 years since we kind of reconnected. But anyway, thanks for having me. My wife's gone this week, so it ended up being like I had all this time this week. The business is a little bit slower in the my main job and stuff like that. So anyway, happy to be here.
Okay, yeah, great to have you here, and let's bring in our other guest, who is a part of the band Alice. And we were talking pre-show, trying to figure out when did we last talk, and in person it was 2022, and virtually it would have been his one-on-one interview on the chapter 3 of the Alice Inside Out tour back in October of 2020. So he is known affectionately as Dr. Drum. And for those that aren't familiar with him, I'm sure he'll get a chance to talk about that when I bring him in. So we're going to welcome Steve Kefalas.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Steve. How are you?
Hey, Steve.
Good. I'm great. How you doing?
Doing very well, sir. Happy New Year to both of you and everyone watching.
Thank you very much.
Happy New Year.
I can't believe it's been that long since we talked. Time flies. 2020. It's already 2026. What? Wow.
I know. And it might be like we look back at this 5 years from now and like, hey, remember that one we did in 2026?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And for just to make sure that I'm trying to do this right, for maybe people that aren't familiar with actually any of us, Steve, why don't we start with you? Can you kind of just do a quick bio background about who you are and what you do and what you're into?
Sure. I am Steve. I live in LA right now. I play drums with the band Alice that you alluded to at the beginning of the of your introduction. I mean, and we are kind of a progressive, I'd say, I don't know how do you describe us, rock, but a lot of electronics and a kind of a vibey. We get really heavy at times and very kind of vibey at times too. And we met, I guess, in 2020, right? When we were on tour. No, I guess before that, and we met you up in Seattle, and we became instant friends, and we really had so much respect for you and all the interviewing and all the amazing stuff you do. And how cool was that in 2020 when our tour got canceled last minute? We had all this stuff that lined up across the country, and we were like, what do we do? Just like everybody. And then we were just like, well, let's play shows with all the bands that we were supposed to play with, and try and raise some money for some of the venues. And so we put together this tour, and we did it all virtually. We put it up on all the, on the YouTubes, all the different platforms. And you were like the host of the whole thing. You did interviews every night. You started off the show, and you really were like MC for the entire tour. And I mean, so much respect for what you do. And I mean, it's amazing that this is just, continued on for this long, and for, you're going strong. Amazing that your numbers are up, and yeah, you're the man.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's interesting to go back to. It was 2017 when we met in person.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we go into COVID in 2020. I was doing email written interviews with people, and Tosh was one of those people. And you guys are in the midst of getting this tour together, and she's the one that was like, "Hey, we have this idea. What do you think about this?" And I'm kind of like, "What is that?" I mean, I didn't quite understand how this was going to work. You guys are down in LA, and I'm up here, and again, and I'm not tech oriented, so I'm like, I have an old laptop from it's like 5 years old. I don't know if it would work. I just gotten an iPhone, so that's what I ended up using for all of the interviews that I did. It was definitely a learning process for sure. Well, for everybody, but
for all of us.
Yeah, it was. I got a small taste of what it's like to be on a tour, in the sense that you have a show, and then you have another show, then you have another show, and you have another show. I'm used to I'll do an interview here, and then maybe 2 weeks later I'll do one here, and this was like, no, you need to
every night. We did it every night for like 3 weeks or something, 3.5 weeks, whatever it was. But we all grew from that. We really had to get our tech together and figure out just how to make it all work, and yeah, it was awesome.
It was amazing what you guys did. I mean, with the multi-cameras and the smoke and the lights. I know you're a lighting guy, and everything else that was going on, and all the fans that came through that were trying to help out with things. If there's like a technical issue, they're like trying to put stuff in the chat, and I'm trying to text people.
Like, we can't, the mics aren't on. We can't hear the singers. Oh, thank you. Thank you for letting us know. Okay. I mean, there was a lot of that.
Yeah, it
But
was.
we figured it out, and yeah, and we've done live streams ever since. Pretty much, it's tradition now. Every time we go on tour, which tends to be a few times a year, we start the show off with a live stream. We start the tour off the first night. So, and it was because of that I feel like we've gotten just better and better as far as the mixing and just figuring out how it all comes together. So
That's awesome. All right, and Mr. Gruwell, how about yourself?
I mean, for the last whatever, since we reconnected in 2018 or what have you, I started building out the studio that I'm in now, and that kind of, when we reconnected, I was starting to work on my own album and do a solo album, thing like that, and that kind of went into overdrive, I guess, when the pandemic hit, and when Steve was working on doing live stream, I was diving into trying to finish up an album and stuff like that because he had all this extra time. So but that was a big inspiration when you started doing your interviews and seeing what Alice was doing and what have you. But yeah, I dove back into recording my own music. But yeah, my history is with Mark, we went to high school together. I grew up in the Seattle Redmond, Bellevue area, and then I moved to Atlanta about 97, 98. I got into skydiving and ended up making a career of that for about 15 years. I'm still in that career per se. I don't jump anymore, but I run a business that sells the skydiving gear and trains parachute riggers. And so I'm still deep into that sport. But at the same time, because that business got to a point where we have great staff of people, it's given me that freedom to dive back into music, which really started around that same time, 2019. And so now, yeah, my main band's Red Hot Empty. It's a punk band, a hardcore band. And then I've been in and out of bands in the Atlanta area. I mean, it's been a pretty vibrant scene around here. So I've been able to kind of pick and choose what bands I want to be in and see how it goes for a little bit. But my mainstay has been Red Hot Empty, as well as doing my solo work. So, yeah.
Okay, so for folks watching, we have two drummers here. If you didn't pick up on that fact, I don't consider myself a drummer. I learned from my brother, but I haven't touched the drum set in forever. So I consider myself a guitar player and kind of a vocalist at times. But Mike, I'm wondering, with you playing with a punk band and Red Hot Empty, how is it? Do you, after doing a gig, are you like sore? Are you like pretty good? I know you do runs and all that kind of thing. So you're pretty physically okay, or is it like kind of catching up to you?
I think we talked about this early on, like in one of our, I mean, we've talked so much, but I feel like I remember early on when I got kind of, when I was finishing up my solo album and starting to play in local bands again and stuff like that. And Red Hot Empty was one of the first ones I got back into. That first year was tough. Those first shows, I mean, I was dead a few, it'd be 3 songs in. I'm like, holy crap. I'm out of, I gave everything I could those first 3 songs. I'm like, holy hell, I've got, 10 more songs to go. It's funny, I started my sons who lift weights and all that stuff. I went to them after the first few shows. I'm like, hey, you got any ideas? Like my wrists are dying, my arms are dying. Of course, I'm full on, it's an emotional, a lot of energy going on for those shows. So yeah, I took about 6 months and really worked on some exercises for wrist and for arms. And, I've been running a lot, but cardio is one thing. It's different on the drums. I mean, it's different. It's not the same. It helps a little bit to be active, for sure, in all the running that I've done. But it's just a different type of cardio, and it didn't really cross over that well. But the exercises that I did, and since then, the last 5 years, the shows are good. I mean, I'm still tired, but I'm not like, oh God, I didn't think I'd make it to that last song. And there were times those first few shows where I'm like, how the heck am I going to get through this?
I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
I had to start playing lighter sticks because I used to play big, heavy, baseball bat kind of things. And then as we started, I started to get more tendonitis and just really, started to really affect me. So I went to much lighter sticks, and that actually helped a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I think at one point early on I was up to like 2 Bs or something crazy, and then 5 Bs, and now I'm back to 5 As, which are like I've settled into that for now, which are smaller for everyone that's like Washington. But yeah, I haven't got all the way back to like I think I was doing 7 As or something like that when I was in more in jazz bands and stuff like that. I haven't gone that far, but just you get more efficient, right? And you know how to like you can still have that same energy. But yeah, I used to feel like I just remember that first 6 months, like I'd lose the power in my left hand for snare drum. It was just like that backbeat was like, oh my gosh, I've just like, after a few songs when you're just pounding it out. And finally now it's like, oh yeah, it's there. It's just, measuring it out and stuff like that. Anyway, and knowing the size of the club, right? So, it's, knowing the sound system and stuff, and knowing that you don't have to go quite as crazy hard. So, but there's still that energy there.
Now, are both of you guys playing similar kits, or has your kits kind of changed over the last 5 years or so of what you're playing?
I'm playing a lot more hybrid electronics and acoustic drums. So I'm playing on live. I'm playing a maple DW kit with small toms. I like the 8" and 10" up top, and they're high pitched toms. They really kind of cut through. And then I have a hybrid electronic kit. So I'm playing a lot of electronic sounds, both with my foot and my hand, just a Roland kind of E drum thing. So that I've sort of gone that direction a little bit.
And for me, I think over the last few years, the biggest thing is just the flavor of cymbals. I use a few stackers now. I brought back a China. Jeez.
Yes.
But yeah, so I never
play that beautiful gong behind you.
Yeah, and then
do you ever bring that to the gigs?
I did for about 2 or 3 gigs, and we found unless it was mic'd, it really lost that effect. It looked cool, hitting it, but it was like, woo, you didn't get that like. It's great for miking up and stuff like that, but definitely specialty more cymbals. But I play just a whatever 4-piece kit, but mine's pretty low. It's a maple DW as well, but big toms. I mean, I've got a 16-inch or 18-inch floor tom, so it's all dead, just like blah 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 blah. But but then a high-pitched snare. So, but I think the biggest change has been adding stackers to give more rhythm to stuff to cut through. Whereas I think it sounds like you're doing that with your high tom and stuff like that to cut through. I'll use a stacker or what have you to help cut through and add some rhythm to some of the songs. So.
Yeah, I have splashes. I have a stacker too. I like that cutting, that very like articulate kind of sound. I mean, it just plays to whatever type of music you're playing.
Right,
a lot of punk rock and big heavy music. You want those big toms that just shake the room.
Yeah.
But for us, it's a little more percussive. There's a lot of electronic elements, and so kind of fitting in is kind of key there.
But I find like I've got one kit in the corner over here that's it's just like a club kit, and that's where I do a lot of my just like working out beats and stuff like that. And that's just bass drum, snare drum, and a hi-hat. Done. That's fun. I enjoy doing that. And that now I never had that before, so that's I guess been a change. Whereas like I guess because I had the space, but having that like second kit that's just for like working out stuff, which is cool.
I just had a memory, Mike, and I remember you were doing these videos. I don't know if this was 2 or 3 years ago, where you're like outdoors in different places with that like a kick drum and maybe a snare, and you're just recording these little like minute-long videos. And there's the one where like the dude it looked like he got really upset because he got woken up or something. Can you kind of explain what I'm talking about?
Yeah, for whatever reason, I got in my mind and I think it was a little bit post-pandemic. I think I started maybe 22, something like that. I don't know, just wild hair. You wake up one day and like, hey, I want to go like sunrise. And of course I wanted to do it sunrise, right? For whatever reason, I'm like, I'm going to start like once a week at sunrise. Find something. It was because I was running so much. I'd pass these places that was like, oh, wouldn't that be cool to just set up a kit? And it wasn't even by a street initially. I did one under a bridge. Oh my God, the acoustics were just amazing. I need to go back there. But at first it was just like in an empty field or what have you. But yeah, and it was always at sunrise for whatever reason. I just, whatever, connecting with the world or whatever, reconnecting. But yeah, there was this one I did on the side of the road, a busy road around here. But I guess way behind me, I did it in front of this burnt out like house that's been there forever. But I didn't realize on the other side of it was a neighborhood, whatever. And some dude, yeah, I actually have, I have a video of him, and like he goes over the guardrail because I was behind the guardrail and he's coming at me and just like mad as all get out. But I've seen him since then, and he's apologized. He's actually has a couple of my albums now and stuff like that. So yeah.
Nice.
It's a cool way.
I haven't gone back. That was one of the reasons I got that small kit, and I still scope out places. I've told my wife there's this one place in this on-ramp interchange that I want to get that's like high up, and I feel like I could see downtown Atlanta. So I've got a couple places kind of scoped out. I just haven't gone back, and I don't know. I haven't gone out. It's been a few years since I've gone out and done it, but I keep scoping places out.
Okay, well, maybe this will be the year you continue. Yeah, I remember when that guy showed up like in frame in that video, because you immediately got off your throne and you were kind of you didn't know what he was.
His eyes, like, dude. Yeah.
Oh man, Steve, have you ever done anything like that?
Not Howard. We've definitely had cops show up to my place. We did. I had a couple parties in my little younger years. Had parties where I had a DJ, and then I set up next to the DJ, and then we'd play along together. And it was fun, but it made a lot of noise for the neighborhood. So, yes, but yeah, I mean, we've done. We've played music. I played drums in a lot of weird places, like for the music videos. For not the album, 2 albums ago, we were releasing a music video once a month, and so we were just doing a lot of nature settings. So we went up into the snow. We brought stuff in, all of our equipment into crazy weird spots. I mean, there was at one point, I remember one of our music videos, I had forgotten to bring drumsticks, and we were up in the mountains, and I was playing. We're like, what am I gonna do? I have no drumsticks, and it was like 2 hours away. Just forgot them, Great. And so we found like branches, and we just kind of like broke them. And then I'm playing, and if you look closely, I'm actually playing like branches.
That kind of adds to the vibe, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
That's cool.
Oh man. Yeah. That's like that whole lemons into lemonade thing.
Yeah, just had to make do.
And when Steve mentioned your gong mic, I was wondering, have you ever thought about trying to light that thing on fire to get attention?
Yes. Let's do it right now.
That's right. Let's go get some lighter fluid. Hold on. No, I mean, it's still new. I still like it. I still love it. But, one of these days, give me a couple years. We'll do a live stream of me lighting on fire and hitting it a few times.
I'm starting to think of like Alex Van Halen back in the day, lighting that big old gong on fire.
Oh, yeah.
That would be.
Now I'm jealous. I need that gong. I need a gong.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It's that's the other thing. I mean, it's a piece of art for sure. The thing's amazing. So it was one of those like you have those like, oh man, I just want one of those at some point in my life, and I've been eyeing it for a while, and it worked out. So
beautiful. I can relate to that, because I remember the place I was working at. This was back in like 2000. I was at a computer company, and I bought a guitar online, and it showed up that day to the office. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go stop by and get new strings and all this other kind of stuff to kind of tweak it. And me being the way I am, I'm like, I always wanted an Ironbird from BC Rich, because I was so into black metal and all that kind of stuff. It's not the pointy shaped type of guitar. And they had just got some in. I'm like, don't go over there. Don't take it off the wall. Don't just kind of ignore it, because if you touch that thing, then you're going to want to plug it in. Then you're going to play it. And long story short, I came home with 2 guitars that night. And I still have that thing. It's right over there. I can see it right now. So Yeah, I think for every musician, there's always that one thing like, man, if I could get one of those, or a better one of this or something, and then eventually, like, I'm going to do it. I don't care. I got to have it now. You know,
That's how
life's too
you know
short.
if you're thinking about it like that. It's just you just got to do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I was going to mention too that Steve, with Alex, you guys had a really, really successful Kickstarter, and I keep seeing these clips of you guys getting closer and closer to the vinyl that's going to become a reality.
Yeah, it was
way to do
awesome.
that.
Such a great surprise. I mean, we had no idea what to expect doing it, but and we just thought of all these different stretch goals. You know, working with some of our really talented friends for music video, Clint Carney. We were like, oh, we want to work with him for our next music video. We want to put together a live, concert video. So that's going to be in the works. We got that all recorded, and now it's just a matter of putting that in production. And we've always wanted to put out an actual album, and that was one of the stretch goals as well. And yeah, it's in production now. I mean, it's in going to the press now. We had a little listening party a couple of weeks ago, just listening to it from the vinyl, hearing the crackles. And it's a different type of mix. It's a different type of compression. It's very warm, and the quiet parts are so quiet, but you hear the crackling of the record, and it just, oh man, it was so fun. It was so cool to hear that. So yeah, and all new artwork for it and everything. So it's been awesome. I mean, we were so thankful to our fans and stuff who really stepped up, and just it was awesome.
Is this the first time doing a Kickstarter for an album idea? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think if we've ever done. Yeah, I think this is the first big, sort of real promoted one. I don't think we've ever done. I'm trying to think back if we've ever done any little small things, but this was like, a real push, and it was, man, we just couldn't believe, how much, because it's hard. It's weird to ask people for money, but at the same time, it's all in the service of the art. So we're putting it's all going back into the art. So we just get to do more things that we wouldn't have otherwise gotten to do. So we're stoked.
Plus, it's something for them to look forward. I'm contributing to this. I know I'm going to get something in return. I'm going to get this. They're going to send me this signed album, whatever you guys are doing. I mean, it's a cool. That's a cool idea. I know there's a couple local bands have done some Kickstarter, not to the level that you guys did, but I've seen that a few times. But yeah, you guys really looks like you've taken to a totally different level, which is awesome.
Oh man, yeah, we were stoked, and all the videos. I mean, Scott and Tosh were just putting out all the videos to really promote it, and so kudos to them for really pushing it, because they put a lot of time and effort and energy, and you just realize that it's about staying connected with people. I mean, it's about putting yourself out there and just talking and being genuine, and this is what we want to do, this is who we are, and people kind of really respond. It's not sort of putting things on, or it's so more kudos to them for putting a lot of hard work into it.
Very cool. Very cool. And Mike, I know you have vinyl for your project. So, I mean, was the process pretty easy getting all that, to reality, or was it kind of a pain in the butt, or how did that work for you?
It took a while for sure. Doing it on your own, and also through the pandemic, the first one that, because all the stuff that I did pre-pandemic or my whatever skydiving career was all like, we did cassette tapes. it was all that stuff in the 90s, and we had never, all my bands before I moved to Atlanta, we had some CDs, but never got to the level, or never thought of, I don't know, it was just a different time, younger and whatever. We were just happy to put out a cassette, tape or what have you. But yeah, when I started doing my own stuff and looking into it, that first album I put out that I put on vinyl, that was the first time I'd ever put anything on vinyl. That was a process because it was during the pandemic and there were shortages of everything. And I tried to go with this local company. I ended up using them, but they were on their way of like basically going out of business. So, I mean, I was one of the last and it took them like a year longer than I had released it digitally just to get the album. And so yeah, it was a long process. Since then, I've put out a few other vinyls, and Red Hot Empty, we've always put out short run vinyls. Like we found like there's a lot of, since it's come back, the last few years, you can get a lot of 20 to 50 short run vinyl companies are out there that do all kinds of different ways of doing that. So we've, since that time, pretty much everything I've put out has been on for at least some type of run on a vinyl 7-inch or 12-inch or whatever. It's become easier to do that the last few years for sure.
That's cool. Yeah, no, I was just talking to the interview that I did yesterday. He was talking about, the actor was talking about this short film he's been a part of, and they're looking to put it on the VHS, which is,
That's cool.
yeah, it's supposed to be a found footage from that era. So they said, we got to get this thing onto VHS. We got to do it. And I've been kind of watching this kind of sub-underground thing, this movement of VHS is kind of starting to come back again, where people are going to garage sales and thrift stores trying to find these things. And they're getting wise to it that some of these things are very, very rare. They didn't come out on DVD or Blu-ray later. So it's like, this is the only format to get it if you want to own it versus, something that you stream. And I'm like, I didn't even realize this stuff was like that. But more power to those folks. I mean, it's just for what it is, and that they can physically hold something. I have a working VCR still, so I can watch that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, go ahead. No, I've got a couple
I was
friends.
Say cassettes too. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, I've got a couple guys that work with me, and they're totally into the VHS culture. And we've shared some Attack the Killer Tomatoes, because I still have a working VHS player. But yeah, the same type of thing where like there's certain things that are just still on VHS. They never really made it over to being digitized. So anyway.
And I was just going to say, some bands are putting out cassette tapes again. That's sort of coming back to just that nostalgia kind of thing. We don't have cassette tapes. Maybe next album.
The first Red Hot Empty album that we put out, we started out with cassette because there's this place up in LJ, and they were kind of like a retro label, and they wanted to help put out our full album, and they said we can duplicate cassettes. And we're like, okay. So yeah, the first thing that came out for our first Red Hot Empty album back in 2021, I think it was on cassette, which was pretty cool, and that's all sold out. But yeah, you see that more when I go to shows and all the little merch tables and stuff, cassettes, CDs, vinyl, it's all a DVD. Actually our old bass player wanted to do a DVD with all the chapters and all that stuff of a show that we did, a house show, and we never got around to finishing it out. But he was big into trying to figure out how to do a DVD. But all that stuff's just great to have back. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got some cassettes over here from somebody that used to live in Seattle, and now she's in Chicago. And I'm like, is your band going to put out a CD? And they say, no, Mark, but we have cassettes. I'm like, all right, send me one of those cassettes then.
Yeah.
Nice.
Our
first tour van had a cassette player, and we would stop at little vintage places and pick up whatever they had. And just, oh man, we got into some weird stuff, some old stuff, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I see a comment came in about earlier about that live streams are great for some people that are in small towns, so they can't, shows just don't come to them, and then maybe they can't get to wherever the show is at. And someone else was talking, same person, about really enjoying physical media, and never got the chance to enjoy a laser disc. Oh, okay. I used to have a player. I had one of the fancy ones where you didn't have to flip it over; it would do it itself. So if you weren't familiar with those, when they first came out, you literally had to play one side, flip it over, and play the other side of the movie. so you had your own built-in intermission. and then they got fancy, and the mechanism would just flip it or whatever the laser happened to do. And I don't have that. Once I moved, it was one of the things that was in really good shape, but I'm like, I'm not going to need this thing, am I? So it's one of those, I had to pull off the Band-Aid and get rid of a bunch of stuff when I downsized to the place I'm at now. And unfortunately, my Laserdisc player was one of them. I think I kept a couple of the discs, though, just because it was a band or a movie that I was really, really into. So I'm like, I can't get rid of this. I'm just going to keep it as a collectible, and I don't care if it's worth anything or not. It's just something for me. And I know I've got VHS sitting over there somewhere, too. They'll survive the move. Oh man, yeah, and I was
Yeah,
going to go ahead.
I was going to say that the thing with the nostalgia and all that stuff with the VHS and the CDs and cassettes, you know, my hope was that it would come back with newspapers as well. I love, because you know, that was my whatever previous try to make a career or life out of something when I was in Seattle was like, but now like the AJC just published their last printed newspaper. But yeah, I love that physical, just like reading the newspaper on a weekend or what have you type thing. So it's that same type of like physical thing. It gets me away off the phone, off the computer, and I just have that in front of me. You know, it's like a book or, you know, what have you. But I still think that you'll see a resurgence of, with those all coming back, you know, just the printed zines and stuff like that. Seeing those come back as well. So.
Hey, maybe you're kind of giving me an idea. Maybe I need to go back to doing my fanzine. That's where this thing started. Yeah. It was a physical.
That's right. Yeah.
I never did do issue number 4.
Yes.
I have the. I remember.
Sign me up.
Yeah, there we go. I got the approval for the cover art from. Oh gosh, I think that guy was in London at the time, and I really loved that cover. But yeah, I never saw the light of day. It's just been sitting in as a file. But that would be kind of interesting to do that just for shits and giggles. Like, hey, I've got limited edition.
That's right. Yes. Heck yeah.
Yeah. 12 signed, you know, and numbered copies.
Yep. Put it right on the coffee table there.
There you go.
That'd be great.
Sell 10 of them to my mom, or. But yeah, it's like. I don't want to forget this, that Steve, I know sometimes for your day job you've worked like the Rams games and I think the Chargers games as medical staff. Are you a fan of one of those teams?
So I like both of them. I'm a lifelong fan of the Chargers. I grew up in San Diego. I work for the Rams. I'm ER doctor, so I work in LA at one of the hospitals here in the ER, and then we have the contract for the Rams. So I've been doing that since 2017, I think, something like that, 2016, 2017, when the Rams first came here. And yeah, I was just there. I mean, we're on the side. It's the best gig in the world. I love it. I mean, you're on the sideline with the players. You know, we're there kind of taking care of anybody who are maybe more injured, who might need to go to the hospital, getting all the sort of wheels greased and all the testing and all that. We're there in the unlikely circumstance like what happened to DeMar Hamlin. I guess that was last year or 2 years ago when there was cardiac arrest on the field. We're there for that. And just whatever else needs to be done. And man, you see up close and personal how big, strong, fast those athletes are. They are just, I mean, they are amazing. And it's really cool just to get a peek behind the curtain there. One of the favorite things I do. Yeah.
Okay. So you want to see the Bolts go all the way then in the playoffs?
I do. Rams. I mean, the Bolts, we're here. We're the 7th seed, but I'm not complaining. They outperformed what I thought they could do. And the Rams, I think, could, you know, if they get it together, they could do some real, you know, damage this playoff season.
I agree. And Mike,
you're in Seattle though, so
yeah.
Yeah, and I'll mention what I think about Seattle, but let me go to Mike real quick. Do you follow the NFL, or do you have a team that you're into, or?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's the Raiders, which will have a #1 pick next year.
Yes, and a new coach.
Team in the year. Oh my gosh, yeah, it was a horrible season to be a Raiders fan. So yeah, because I was born in Berkeley. My parents were big Raiders fans, so it was a family thing. But for whatever reason, when I grew up into a Raiders family, that was their team. And so, yeah.
And had you been down to the Raiders stadium in Las Vegas?
So I was there when they had just finished building it. But I haven't been there to see a game, but I've been there and saw just like it's just like this huge, like, I don't know. It's crazy looking.
It's an awesome stadium.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I like it better than SoFi.
Yeah.
Yeah. SoFi, you know, the new LA stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. They have all these like food carts everywhere. I mean, you get a real kind of international experience there. I mean, it doesn't feel very corporate. I don't know. It's weird that you'd say that about Vegas. SoFi feels like this huge kind of like I don't know, very corporate, but it's beautiful aesthetically.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The
Interesting.
Raiders Stadium is awesome. I mean, I highly recommend checking it out if you're in Las
next
Vegas.
season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. My wife has talked about it. She's like, we should go see a Raiders game. And this year I was like, nah, that's not good.
Maybe.
Like,
And
hard. It was
are you a
painful,
Seahawks
so
fan?
painful. We'll say that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, are you a Seahawks fan, or are you?
Oh yeah, basically every Seattle team, because I was born and raised here, and I'll be the first one to admit I didn't think they would do what they did. Starting the season, Sam Darnold's got this track record, man, of like you get him out of the pocket and he's toast. He's going to have problems. He's proven that with every team he's been on, and then he still had that problem against the Rams down there. I mean, 4 interceptions. And then he had 2 up here against them. And luckily our run game kind of kicked in the past 3 games. So that's helping give him some, relief a little bit.
Oh, man, you guys look tough.
Yeah.
I mean, first seed and the defense is amazing. And Sam Darnold, man, he just, if he can hold on through the playoffs, if he can just keep it together, he's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if he's definitely shown, and thankfully he's gotten some more confidence with our line protecting him a little bit better, so he's not running for his life, because he definitely can play, he can throw, all that kind of stuff. But if he's got to be scrambling, he has problems. He makes bad decisions, and then you can't do that in the playoffs. We all know that. You got to be on your game. And the Rams have always been a bugaboo team for the Seahawks. Every season, didn't matter, even when they weren't doing that well back in the Jeff Fisher days. They always had our number, and so if we faced them, which we could in the playoffs, and we don't have home field advantage anymore up here. We lost it several years ago. We do better on the road.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, our road record's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
So the fact that we got the first seed in the bye, that's great to rest the players and all that. But in terms of whichever team's coming here, we're going to take care of business. I don't know. I really don't know. And San Francisco's no pushover either. I mean, we barely beat them recently. And so if Philadelphia comes here or the Bears come here, it's going to be tough, but we could do it. We just got to play the best ball that we can.
Mm-hmm. NFC West tough this year. We have the Super Bowl next year in LA. I'm fingers crossed I'm going to be able to work it. I'm very cautiously optimistic about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I saw that was going to be there, and then I think and the year after that, is it down in Atlanta? I think it's down there in 2028. I think so. 26, 27, 28.
Very cool.
Wow. Yeah. And this is just a random question, Steve, that you mentioned, and I know you've been doing that for your day job, where you've been doing lectures and doing rooms full of people. Is that pretty like a comfortable situation for you? Or you're kind of like, I'm kind of getting used to it, or I don't like doing it, but I have to?
It's funny because I just started, we put on a symposium. It's like a conference every year. It's an emergency medicine conference. And I just was put in charge of it last year and this year. And so I have to promote it, and it is just like a show. It is just like promoting shows. You have to like social media, emails, going out, getting people hyped up about it, kind of overselling it, overhyping it. This is going to be amazing. You got to come out, and you have to hammer people over and over again, more than what you think. And we had a record turnout this year, and we were completely sold out, and it was like awesome. But it was using that muscle that the show, the musician, kind of like promoting the shows, being in bands my whole life. I felt like that's what I was doing. And then as far as actually getting up and speaking, I don't mind it. I get to, as long as I'm prepared, I like it. It's fun. It feels like you're on stage. I'm used to being behind the drum kit, so I don't have to be in front of people as much, playing the drums. But it's very familiar feeling. So, yeah, I enjoy it.
Okay, and I think I remember somebody from the band telling me that you have a really good voice to harmonize. Is that are we ever going to hear that? Are you going to come out from the drums, or have a mic by you?
A little, yeah. We always joke about the little. Backstreet Boys kind of headset mic there. No, that's not happening. That was when I was in high school and college. I sang in an acapella and then a kind of a boy band doing all the dance moves and stuff like that. That's a long time ago. We're not going back there.
Oh my god!
If anyone out there has video footage of this, I have to see it.
Pre-internet. Talking about VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
My mom has a big stack of them.
And then Mike, with being a CEO and been an owner of your own business for many years, do you do the staff meeting when everyone's there and you have to kind of talk and lead the troops kind of a thing?
No, that's far gone. I mean, we used to early on. We did a lot of that, but I mean, we've had the same crew there for 10, 12 years now. But yeah, I still do, probably nothing to the level that Steve's doing, but I every 2 years there's a parachuting symposium, and I'm one of the speakers there. And so I have to pack a parachute rig and talk through it while I'm packing, giving tips and tricks and all that type of stuff. It's always like, as long as I have all my stuff and I know what I'm doing, because I've got all my gear and my tools or whatever. The only thing that's weird is that you're actually physically doing something while you're speaking. So I'm not up at sitting there in front of someone and talking with, I have to have my slides going while I'm actually physically closing a parachute into a rig and talking while I'm doing this, and I'm putting my knee here and pressure here. So those are the biggest gatherings that I do, and it's a whole bunch of skydiving industry people and riggers and stuff like that come to watch all those. So, but that's only like once every 2 years. So other than that, we give courses to 4 people at a time, several times throughout the year. And I do the same type of presentation, but it's just to a smaller group when we're starting the rigging course before they learn how to become a parachute rigger. But yeah, as long as I think it's like what Steve says, as long as you know, it's something that you're very familiar with. It's like it's you could sit there and talk without any notes. It's just something that you're so comfortable with. And it's just, you're just going through it, and it's fun. I enjoy that to a certain extent. Yeah.
Mike, when's the last time you jumped out of a plane?
2014.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I made about 6,200 jumps from about 1990. What was it? 5? I think 1995 to 2014. But yeah, I was a full-time AFF, an instructor, a videographer, I was a competitor. I mean, I was deep into it for a while. And then I just got so familiar with the gear, and I got known in the industry for being a parachute rigger that everything went into gear, support, sales, rigger. So that part of it for the experienced skydiver. But yeah, I made a ton of jumps. I mean, I was the thing is, I was 7 days a week at a drop zone, just sun up to sundown, just jumping as much as I can. I mean, it's an addiction, and it was fun for sure.
And would it be difficult to do it now? I mean, is it a challenging thing, or is it just that, hey, life is taking you in a different direction?
Yeah, it's life, different direction. I don't think it's like skydiving, as a competitor or whatever, certain types of instruction, but you'll see old skydivers. I mean, it's not like, it can't depend on the type of skydiving you're doing. It can be physically demanding, but it's more just knowing, I don't know, it's a skill set, but it's not like a real, you've got to train for it. You can, if you want to be the best and doing different formation type skydiving and stuff like that, you definitely need to be fit and know what you're doing. But sometimes it's just basic instruction. You're just falling through the sky, and then you're under parachute. I mean, it's as physical as you want to make it, type thing. So, yeah.
Makes sense.
Mike, have you ever had, and maybe I asked this during one of our live streams, have you ever had any kind of injury to yourself, like when you're landing, or you landed funny with your ankle or something? Or
nothing major. I used to do what they called canopy swooping, where you wind up the canopy, just a few hundred feet above the ground to go as fast as you can through a course The margin of error is very small. That's usually where they end up and they see Steve. So it's I did hit the water, and usually it used to be completely over water. Now it could be over anything, but yeah, I did hit the water pretty hard. I've got at work, I have this like row of pictures that just shows just like, I mean, luckily it was water, but I mean, water can be bad too. But no, I've never, I think I had a meniscus tear from that, that I found out like a year later, what have you. But no, I never got seriously injured, Scott. Island was, you know, again, it's as safe as you make it, type thing. Stuff can happen, accidents can happen, but it's as safe as you want to make it. So.
Okay. Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. Steve, something kind of popped back into my head. I remember at one point, or maybe a couple times, you had talked about like working a shift, I think on, was it New Year's Eve or maybe New Year's Day, that you saw some of the craziest things that would come into the ER. And you also talked about, I think during maybe your residency, of someone that was just getting chased above you, like the cops or somebody was chasing somebody above you. I'm sure you've got some other stories. Has anything recent in the last 5 years happened that sticks out in your head?
I'm trying to think what, if anything, crazy has happened. Now it all blends together. I swear, I like something crazy will happen, and then just by the time I'm home, I'm like, oh yeah,
just another day.
But that was that what you were talking about was at Bellevue when I was in my training in New York, and they used to bring in the prisoners who were arrested, and that guy, one guy went to the bathroom and he was in there for 20 minutes, and we're like, I mean, they were, he might have been either from, one of the prisons, or he was just NYPD. But anyway, and 20 minutes later, he's still in there. And we're like, well, maybe we should go in and see if he's still there. And the officer opens and he's gone. And you look up and the tile is, moved, and he's above the ER on the ceiling. And we're like, now what do we do? And so they called in the SWAT team. So the SWAT team comes into the ER. There's patients everywhere. And they go up after him. And literally the tiles, you see like the tiles moving, and some of them are shaking, and then they're falling down on people. And we're like, okay. And they finally catch him, over in the corner, and then they bring him down. We're like, okay, just another day in the ER. I mean, so just so many crazy stories, but yeah.
Oh man. I also remember, all these things are kind of coming back to me, that in 2017, when I met you in the band in person, you were studying for an exam that you had to do like every 10 years or something, if I remember.
Oh, wow. Good memory.
Yeah.
You're coming up again. It's 2026. Oh boy, I got to start getting on that.
I was just going to ask, do you have to do that every 10 years?
Yeah, they've changed the format a little bit. Now it's a series of shorter tests, and you just do them basically remotely. But I have about, you have to do 5. I think I have to do 5 this year or something by the end of the year. So I was actually just thinking about that. I'm like, I need to get on this and, start taking these sooner rather than later, just in case,
Okay. Yeah. You had this fat ass book. That's what I remember. And I was asking, what are you reading? And you say, oh, I'm brushing up on tropical diseases and all this other kind of stuff. I'm kind of like, what?
Yes. All the stuff we never see, it's because it's not about the stuff you see day to day. It's all about the, how does the cyanide poisoning, kit work, and what are the different components? I'm like, when's the last time I saw cyanide poisoning? And all the tropical diseases and all the, parasites and things, where I'm like, okay, hit the books.
Yeah, it's kind of just like what Mike was saying earlier. Like if there's something you're really familiar with, you have no problem talking about it or doing a test or whatever. But if it's something way over here and left of center, like I haven't seen this in a while, I don't know exactly. I better brush up on this stuff. And it could be, in your case, there's a ton of it that you may not see. Holy crap!
And they'll test it.
As we get close to winding this down, if you're watching this, again, if you want to ask a question or comment to Steve or Mike, just get it into the chat before we close this down. But for guys, I'm just curious, what was like the last live show you saw? Was it last year, or did you already see something this year? And is anything coming up that you're looking forward to? Not just concerts, but anything that's going to be on the stage with a performer.
I got to see. It was one of those things. My wife, she was into different music when she was younger, and she had this thing where she really got into the voice, Eddie Vedder's voice. And so I surprised her last year, and we got tickets to see Pearl Jam. Dead Pioneers opened for them. The show was freaking great. It was at State Farm Arena or whatever, and it's like, I mean, it was amazing. But I don't think I'd ever seen Pearl Jam live. You know, I remember being in Seattle and when they were called Mookie Blaylock and playing shows, but I don't think I ever saw them live. And so that was a pretty amazing show. And finally, awesome. And Matt Cameron was freaking still, and that was great. I didn't know he was leaving the band, that type of thing, because Matt Cameron was my, one of my idols, or has still been, him and Will Calhoun. I just looked up to both of them from those 90s era or whatever. And so that was awesome seeing him playing. But yeah, that was a special show because, Steph finally got to experience a little bit of 90s stuff, that music she wasn't into, but now is. And seeing Matt Cameron, that was fucking amazing. Yeah.
Matt Cameron went to my high school.
Oh, did he?
He was a few years ahead of me, and he played for the show choir. He played drums for the show choir, the singing and dancing in the sequence. And yeah, he's like the most legendary guy to come from our high school in San Diego. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What a beast. What a beast.
That's interesting. Mike, we kind of share the same thing, because I saw Pearl Jam for the first time. I want to say that was 2 years ago here. Prior to that, I'd never seen them. So I'm kind of
it's so crazy.
All right, I know. Yeah. There was a new album out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, I want to see them at some point. And the new album was out. They're playing Climate Pledge for 2 shows. So I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I don't have to go to the Gorge. I don't have to go to Tacoma. I can just see them here. And so I need to bite the bullet. And yeah, it was. So I'm not like the biggest Pearl Jam fan, but it was an amazing show. And I understood why so many people are so dedicated to like traveling around and seeing this band everywhere they play and all that kind of thing. I'm so glad that I went.
Yeah.
And Steve, what about you? What was the last show or shows?
I just bought tickets today to see Bad Omens. Scott and Tasha and I are going to go. That's going to be an awesome show. I'd say the best, like most notable recent show I saw was I went to the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah,
and saw U2 when they played there.
No
I've never
shit.
seen U2,
and
cool. I like their music. I'm not like a huge fan.
Yeah,
but I can just say the Sphere is an experience like no other. It is incredible, visuals, but also the sound. I mean, they have like all these directional speaker drivers. They're like 180,000, 150,000 individual speaker drivers all the way up in the ceiling. And when Edge started to play, Streets Have No Name, all these like epic guitar, you felt like you had headphones on. And then the subs start to come in, and you just feel like you are enveloped in sound. I mean,
that's awesome.
Amazing, amazing, amazing show. Plus the visuals. I mean, the desert scenes, you feel like you're out in the desert, and then you look up and it's the desert sky. I mean, they just did such an amazing job with the production of it. So highly recommend.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's awesome.
Just
that's
as
good to hear that the sound is so good too. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And Steve, just as a follow-up, what band for you would you like to see at the Sphere?
Oh man, that
is a
good question. You know what? I'm torn because I'd love something heavy, but I don't know if the Sphere, like I'd say Deftones or something like that, like one of my favorite bands. But you also want to key into I think something like Massive Attack. With all the different sounds and, something with a lot of dynamics where you could really just key into the sound and the vibe of. I bet Massive Attack would be an amazing at the Sphere.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And, Mike, I just remembered something from the fun table that we did with Sony and Shar that I was talking about kids and being at the Leve show. And I forgot you and I were talking about Leve during your one-on-one. Did you ever see her?
No.
Okay. All right. She's worth seeing.
Okay. I remember us talking about it, but yeah, no, I didn't.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I do see a question came through. Any advice on recruiting musicians for a single recording? Would a local college be a spot to find someone? How do you approach a stranger?
That's a That's a great question.
Yeah, I know for like at least in the Atlanta scene per se. I think this person's just looking to just record something, but it's the same type of thing. Atlanta scene. I mean, the social media is a big one where there's a couple of different pages or whatever that it's all about just like, hey, I'm a bass player in freaking Stone Mountain and I'm looking for someone to get in a band with or whatever. But that would be, you could start with a college. It depends what they're looking to do, but just reaching out. Like most of the drummers that you see online, they got some recording set up. They're doing tracks or what have you. So it's just reaching out to one of those people, and then they may go, "Oh, you need a bass player and a guitar player. I know, guard to guitar player, bass player." But yeah, if you're not, or going to a local show and like if there's some band that you like seeing that's local, you go up to them, hey, I love your guitar playing or whatever, would you be willing to listen to what I'm trying to do and record for me, that type of thing. But social media and just going to a show and talking to people. Colleges maybe, some of the band, but I don't know if depends what type of music, right? Most of the colleges are you're going to talk to someone that's in a jazz band or something like that, so a concert band. But if you're looking for a guitar and bass player, whatever, it might be just going to a local show or just looking in your area on social media and trying to find that scene of local people.
Yeah, I agree. I think you'd be surprised that even real pro musicians, like high level musicians, tend to be very open. I've found, especially since the pandemic, they're accessible. They tend to be really open, and if you just approach them get to know them, get to know what you like about them, and you can have like an honest conversation, just be genuine about it. I think most people you could approach online and just, like you said, and it doesn't have to be even the same city. A lot of times people are doing things remotely now. So
yeah, that's how most of the stuff that I get approached for. Well, I would say more than half is local people that have seen me play or what have you. I know of a setup, but there's the other half that are just like reaching out because they saw something like, hey, do you do remote, even though it's all over my website, do you do remote drums or would you be interested in doing something like that? But yeah, word of mouth is definitely one thing. But if you're just getting started and trying to find someone, I know that's a little bit difficult to get over that. So, going to a couple shows or just reaching out to some people randomly and they're going to tell you yes or, point you in the right direction. Most people want to help you see your project succeed. So.
Yeah, I can even pitch in with this that when I started playing music around town in my little duo in 2012, one of the first places we played was a coffee shop. And I'm introverted. I'm not extroverted at all. So I'm not used to like going and talking to strangers about what I do or what I'm into. But the barista at the time had mentioned that she likes to play guitar and sing. I'm like, oh, okay, well, we're going to be doing our set over here. And we just started talking about influences and stuff we're into and shows we saw. And we found that we had a commonality. So I just made sure I got her information. That's probably key. And then I could follow up with her, which I did probably about 5 months later, and said, hey, I'm trying to start this other duo right now. You want to just come together and try to jam on some stuff and see if there's any kind of chemistry there. And we did. And then it's like, hey, I know I can get us a gig over at this coffee shop, this other one that has a little stage and some lights and stuff so we can feel like we're important. And we can go over there and just see if this thing sticks or not. If it doesn't, that's fine, as long as we're having fun. It wasn't a big deal. So if you're somebody that is also not the most extroverted person, you do have to put yourself out there a little bit. And if you're just doing it through social media, that's easier. But if you have to do it in person, like Mike and Steve were talking about, like if it's gigs or in your area, at some point you have to do it a little bit, and then it gets easier and easier to do it. Because again, I've had to talk to so many different people that I don't know from a hole in the wall in person and try to convince them that I want to interview you, or I want to photograph you, or I want to do this, or I'm connected to that person. And your network just starts to build from there. But you have to take at least that first step. I feel otherwise you're going to be kind of stuck into this corner that you can't really get yourself out of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a really great question.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for that. Well, hey, gentlemen, I see it's 1:09. We're a little bit past. We're not doing those marathon 2, 3, 4 hour things anymore. But it's been so great catching up with both of you. And before we do sign off, let's talk about it. We're at the beginning of 2026, or our last kind of thing. What do you have coming up? If it's things you want to promote or just things in general you want to throw out to the universe, what do you got going on?
Steve, you go
I'll
first.
start. I'm doing a few different recording projects with different friends and all that kind of thing. But the main is Alice, and Alice. We just put out a double album, so it's on Spotify. It's all on YouTube. You can get the new actual physical albums coming up soon, and we'll be having a live concert video coming out, and we're already starting to work on new music. We're using a covers album, and then also connected to that new music that is sort of reminiscent of the covers that we're gonna be writing ourselves. So that's already, the planning stages are already up and running for that. So yeah, very excited to keep recording music, and then hopefully touring later in the year.
Okay, cool. And Mike?
I think my biggest thing is that I finally finished my third solo album, and Jack and Dino has it now, mixing and mastering it. And so I'm looking forward to that getting released probably the end of January, something like that. It all depends when it comes back. So I'm pretty excited about that. This one I'm calling Funk Drunk, and it's basically just a ton of I laid down all these funk that I considered funk beats and stuff like that, and I layered it with some bass and piano and trumpet and all that stuff. And it's mostly all me. There's a couple songs I had a guitar player from Red Hot Empty put a couple things down, but so it's just a bunch of funk stuff, and so I'm pretty excited about that coming out. Besides Red Hot Empty, we're playing a bunch of shows this year. We got a new bass player, and so we're working her into all the new songs and stuff like that. So that's taken a little bit, but we're pretty excited about this year with a little bit new lineup, and and just keep doing our thing. So
cool. So yes, that sounds great. I'm going to be doing what I always do with trying to balance things with all the in-person events, and it's been nice getting to go to Jazz Alley, I should say, as a free plug, because I haven't covered anything there in probably a year and a half. So getting to do Kenny G at the end of, actually just last month in December. And then I've got Chris Body coming up next week. So that's going to be fun to be there. And I got a chance to talk to him a little bit for a preview piece that I wrote. So these are things that, again, kind of another example that I built this connection with their communication director 3 years ago. And I haven't been in their building in a year and a half for work purposes. And then all of a sudden she's like, Mark, okay, we need to get some more tickets sold for the 9:30s. How do you feel about doing this? I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I can get it together. And I said, so what show do you want to come to? Are you going to have a +1 or not? And she's never offered me a +1 ever. So I'm like, yeah, I can find somebody. Absolutely. And now she's done the same thing. She's kind of set a precedent, which is I won't take advantage of it. I'll try not to. But it's been really cool that those things, if you do things right, and then they kind of stay that way 2-3 years later. And so I always kind of encourage people to just do what you feel is the right thing to do, even when no one's looking. And you'll see this whole group just kind of start growing around you. We're kind of proof of this right now. I mean, Mike and I go so far back, but I didn't really know him that well back in high school. And Steve, I met in 2017, almost 10 years ago.
Wow. Wow.
which is crazy. Yeah. And I'm sure, and you guys have your same circles too that have been, I've known him for 20 years. I've known her for these kind of things. And if it's clubs, if it's record people have nothing to do with that, with your day jobs and that kind of thing. So just kind of put that best foot forward, and hopefully your 2026 is everything that you want it to be. That's what I'm hoping for.
You're here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Have a great night. And
thank you, Mark.
Thank you. I
appreciate everything you do.
I appreciate what you guys do, and again, all the warm memories I have of Alice. That's always there. And then with Mike and I talking shit about bands and other stuff that we used to do. Who knows? You might get another little ping from me somewhere this year about, hey, do you want to come back to talk about this? And we'll see what's going on. So, all right, everybody, take care. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Good night. Good seeing you.
Bye.